Hi, my name is Melissa Nell. I'm a registered dietitian and I'm part of the Body 20 Nutrition Doctor team. And today I can hopefully bust 5 common nutrition myths that we actually see quite often and also typically turns out to be questions we get asked by our clients or maybe patients in practice. So the very first myth, and it's a very common one, a common question we also get asked, is that if you train in a fasted state, in other words, you haven't eaten anything, you will burn more fat and then of course lose more weight. So we've seen with research over and over again, it comes down to personal preference and the difference between exercising, especially if you do cardio, if you've eaten something versus if you haven't eaten anything, it actually is not significant. In other words, there isn't really a massive difference. We see that it usually evens out throughout the day. So it comes down to your preference. If you like eating something before you exercise, go ahead. If you don't, then that's okay. So it's really, you need to decide what works best for you. The next one is that you can destroy your metabolism. So this is something that is also very common and commonly seen on social media and promoted by websites and so forth, is that we can destroy or you've destroyed your metabolism by dieting your whole life and now you're doomed to having a slow metabolism and that's why you can't lose weight. So that's really not the truth. Luckily, we don't have as much control over our metabolism to really be able to destroy it. And luckily, maybe the little bit of damage you've done is luckily not permanent. So we do see that if you are on a very restrictive diet, so in a very big calorie deficit, in other words, you're burning a lot more energy than what you're consuming, we do see that the metabolism decreases for adaptation, basically, but that's usually around 200 calories. It's not a massive 1,000 calories or more. It's really just a small amount. And then if you do increase your energy intake again, it will increase again. So there isn't that permanent damage. So you're not doomed to have a slow metabolism for the rest of your life. So, however, just a disclaimer, I do by no means promote restricting your diet to very little calories. Because we need the calories for energy, of course, to be able to exercise and do our daily tasks. But also, if you're restricting your diet so hectically, you might be missing out on a lot of vitamins and minerals, on fiber, important proteins and nutrients, which is really important for health and fat loss and just general well-being. The third myth is that food intolerance tests can be done by, drawing your blood and then you can see what you're intolerant to. And if you cut it out, then your life will be better. So unfortunately, food intolerance tests are very inaccurate because there's so many things that can really affect the test. So it's not very accurate and sometimes might even be dangerous because it might lead to overly restricting your diet or eliminating foods that's not even necessary, which really just isn't fun and unnecessary. So if you do suspect that you have an intolerance, because you might be experiencing certain symptoms like bloating or stomach ache or headaches or constipation or whatever the case may be, I do recommend that you keep a food and symptom diary on your phone or in a notebook or whatever's easiest for you. Write down the symptom and the food you had, be as specific, write the time of day, write what you were doing, you were at work or you were driving or whatever. Look at your water intake as well and try to then over a period of time see if there's maybe a common thread that you can see, that's typically, let's call it peanuts, for example. If you've then noticed, okay, it might be peanuts or it might be milk or it might be bread, I would recommend then cutting out one of the those foods, for example, for a week or two, and then seeing if the symptoms get better, and then reintroducing them actually. I know it sounds scary, but reintroduce them to see if the symptoms actually come back, because we don't want to be eliminating foods unnecessarily. The fourth myth is that high protein diets are bad for your kidneys or it can cause kidney damage. So if you have a pre-existing kidney issue, so in other words, your kidneys are already damaged or they're functioning not at 100% capacity, then yes, high protein diets might actually be harmful to them, and I don't recommend you going on a high protein diet. However, if your kidneys are healthy and you don't have any pre-existing kidney issues, then a high protein diet is actually completely safe and actually has been shown to be very beneficial when it comes to fat loss and building muscle. So high protein diets are actually very, very effective when it comes to managing our body composition. Our fifth and final myth is, hopefully you could have guessed it, or maybe you've thought about it and you were wondering if I'm going to get to it, and that is that eating small frequent meals is better than eating big meals, especially to speed up your metabolism. So this is something that's also done the rounds for many years. And that is that we should be eating small, frequent meals 6, 7, 5, or 10 times a day instead of having 3 proper meals, for example. Again, research has shown that there's no significant difference between eating small, frequent meals versus just eating 3 main meals, for example, in terms of your metabolism. So again, it comes down to your personal preference. If you are a grazer, so in other words, you love eating throughout the day, then by all means that's fine. Or if you're someone that you feel like you need to eat your meal and then carry on with your day, that's also fine. So if you like 3 meals with 2 snacks in between, great. Or if you enjoy rather eating throughout the day, that's fine. If the biggest thing is basically when it comes to weight loss, because that's typically why people would do something like this, or fat loss, is if we look at the overall calorie intake, then it should kind of be the same. So if your calorie intake is 1,600 by eating 10 little meals throughout the day versus 1,600 by eating 3 meals a day, it's going to be the same in terms of fat loss, and it won't actually have a significant impact on your metabolism. So hopefully this video has cleared up a few of the common myths or questions that you might have. If you have any more questions or myths that you would like us to bust, let us know. You can send us a WhatsApp or an email, and then I'll see you in the next one.